From taking shots at coaches to making fun of other players, here are the most ridiculous trash-talking moments in the NBA. Starting with the time Gary Payton insulted Sidney Lowe. Known as a legend in the NBA, Gary's known for being great at defense and talking trash all the time. In fact, as a rookie, Payton made fun of Michael Jordan too. During a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Payton got tired of making trouble for the other team's players. That's when he started yelling at the Timberwolves head coach, Sidney Lowe, and even insulted the coach's height by calling him a smurf. Sure, he didn't use any swear words and all, but it hurts just as much as the others on this list. Even though Payton was only 4 inches taller than Lowe, the joke's hilarious to NBA fans. This next guy, though, has the most technical fouls in a season and in the NBA's history. And it's for a pretty good reason. Rasheed Wallace loved making fun of his opponents with funny quotes. When he wasn't talking to the refs, he made fun of his opponents, usually with funny, off-the-cuff quotes. And when said opponents missed free throws or open jumpers while Wallace was on the court, the phrase, "ball don't lie," was often heard on TV. It was first used by Wallace when one of his opponents got a foul call that he thought was unfair. It was his way of criticizing the referees without doing so directly and making his opponents nervous. The quotes become a way to talk trash about Rasheed Wallace, and it's still used at all levels of basketball today. But that's still tame compared to the time this player got picked on while on the court. Larry Bird versus Dennis Rodman. Early in his career, Rodman wasn't the feared defensive force he became in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Bird picked on Rodman, who was supposed to watch over the sharpshooter. He acted like there was no one guarding him after making 4 straight baskets in front of Rodman. And if that wasn't cruel enough, he continued saying somebody should stop him before he continues winning. This is some serious trash talk, and Bird could definitely back it up with his skills on the hardwood floor. Rodman got back on his feet and became one of the best rebounders and defensive players the NBA's ever seen. So it's nice to think that his career was not ruined by trash talking like some of the others in this article. Now, it's one thing to insult someone's skill and another to go for their family, but that's what this next guy did. Kevin Garnett got personal with Carmelo Anthony. Even though both players had been in the league for a few years, this feud didn't start until a game in January 2013. During this game, Garnett used trash talk to get Carmelo Anthony so angry that they fought and shoved each other on the court. Both players got technical fouls, and Anthony went to the Celtics team bus after the game to talk to Garnett. Anthony was fined and suspended for the incident. But people were curious about what was said to Anthony to make him act so out of character after the game. Some people think Garnett said something about Anthony's wife. If this is true, it could explain Carmelo's behavior on the court and after the game. Sure, he later tried to downplay what he said, and only Garnett and he really know what was said. Then, there was this intense but unbelievable moment between two of the best players in the NBA. The war between Kobe and Shaq. They're known as one of the NBA's most unstoppable duos, and their rivalry's just as famous as their time playing together on the Los Angeles Lakers. Shaq demanded a trade to the Miami Heat because he didn't know if Kobe would be a free agent. Kobe and Jackson's contracts were still up in the air, so Shaq went off on Kobe and the team. Both players were criticized, both by each other and by the media. Kobe was called manipulative, and Shaq's requests for a pay raise were called selfish and impractical. Shaq even rapped about Kobe losing the 2008 NBA Finals. It was one of the few sports rivalries that have made it into hip-hop diss records. And of course, when two well-known trash talkers fight, it's a rough scene, which is exactly what went down with Draymond Green and Paul Pierce. Known for his trash talk in the NBA, Pierce played for 19 years and won 1 championship and 1 Finals MVP trophy. His last season was in 2016-17. During a game against the Golden State Warriors in 2017, Draymond Green said to Paul Pierce that he wasn't good enough to get a farewell tour, to which Pierce responded by saying that Green thought he was going to win a title that year, but he didn't. Under the basket microphones caught Pierce taking several shots at Green during the game, And Green's response was the quote about the farewell tour. On that note, I should also tell you about how the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks played each other in the playoffs in 1993 and 1994. This started a heated rivalry that lasted for the rest of the decade. That's how we got Reggie Miller versus the New York Knicks of the 1990s. In 1993, Miller's trash talk made John Starks hit him in the head. And Miller's performance at Madison Square Garden in 1994 is what people remember most about the series. During the 1990s, these two teams seemed to play each other in the playoffs every year. The intense trash talking between Reggie Miller, Knicks players like Ewing and Starks, and superfan Spike Lee, as well as the great performances by both teams, will always be remembered. The choke gesture that Reggie Miller made to Spike Lee before and after making several important three-pointers, that's probably the most well-known part of this rivalry. Fans and players alike remember this rivalry with a lot of affection. But it's still pretty ridiculous if you think about it. Of course, it's one thing to talk trash about an opponent, but when you do that to your own teammates, yeah, that's kinda messed up. But that's exactly what this next guy did. Remember when Michael Jordan talked trash about the people on his own team? In 1993, Rodney McRae was a member of the Chicago Bulls team. During practice, he often had to guard Michael Jordan. Jordan insulted him by calling Ray a loser and claiming that the player would never be good at anything. After only one season with the Black Cat, McRae was a shell of the player he used to be. Kwame Brown's another player who's been hurt by Jordan's mean-spirited trash talk. Kobe Bryant has also had feuds and talked trash with former teammates. However, everyone else I've mentioned so far is tame compared to this next guy, Charles Barkley. There isn't enough time to list all of the things Barkley did wrong, but he's a bit of a certified trash talker in the NBA. Chuck won the NBA MVP award in 1993, and he had the skills to back up what he said. Barkley's trash talk on the court reached a new level when, during the 1993 All-Star Game, he told Scottie Pippen that he couldn't guard him. They pushed each other a little, which was unusual for this kind of show. One of the funniest times Charles Barkley talked trash off the court was when he and Michael Jordan went on the Oprah Winfrey Show in 2005. The whole time, these two basketball greats made fun of each other, which made everyone laugh. Since 2000, Barkley has been an NBA analyst for TNT. His knowledge of basketball gives him a unique view of current NBA players, some of whom he talks trash about on air. Classic Barkley. Guess some things never change. With that, that's all the most ridiculous trash-talking moments in the NBA.